story, another one is our headline this afternoon of the day is the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial. It just wrapped up a short while ago for the day. Much of today was spent with the defense cross-examining the key state witness, Sergeant Thabo Musia, about the night of the murder. But earlier on, of course, in the court proceedings, there was another matter that was at hand regarding the second docket, the so-called docket 375. My colleague Slindelo Masikane, following the court proceedings, is joining us now live from the North Gauteng High Court in Pretoria. Slindelo, we've wrapped up for the day. Court will resume tomorrow morning, but there were like two distinct parts today. Take our viewers, remind us what happened first in that application by Advocate Mshololo earlier in the day.
So you would remember that from yesterday we were dealing with a application for a special entry in terms of Section 317 of the Criminal Procedure Act, where Advocate Mshololo was asking the court to basically note the issue about fairness in this trial, the issue about disclosure in terms of docket 375 not being made available to her prior to the proceedings beginning. Now, at some point, the judge then stressed the fact that time is of the essence in this trial, and the fact that he has actually noted this. He asked that counsel meet him in chambers to discuss the way forward in order to just speed things up so we could actually get back to the trial itself. After some consultations in chambers, they returned, and it was agreed that Mshololo would basically abandon the application because there is an agreement in terms of Mamela noting that it is on record that there's an irregularity in terms of Mshololo not having received the full disclosure of documents in terms of the state not giving her access to docket 375. When we officially then resumed, Bradan, with the trial and the cross-examination of Sergeant Thabo Musia, Advocate Mshololo then made another application to have hearsay evidence heard in court. And this hearsay evidence is in relation to a statement in docket 375 that was deposed by, at the time, it was, at the time of the murder, he was a brigadier, but at the time of him actually writing this statement or affidavit, he was a general, and this is Johan Ndlovu. You would remember earlier this year, in fact, that there was a lot of speculation around what kind of a witness he would be, if at all, in terms of this trial, because he is one of the police officers who was first on the scene and referred to many times by Musia in his evidence in chief as well as in cross-examination, saying that Brigadier Ndlovu at the time was assisting him in terms of collecting forensic evidence, showing him what exhibits to take photographs of. He said that Brigadier Ndlovu at the time was also the one who called him to the scene, also directing him to the hospital and not exactly giving him the address to the crime scene itself. And the reason for this application in terms of hearsay evidence is the fact that General Ndlovu, who at the time of his passing was a general, he is no more, and of course then there is no corroboration in terms of him being in terms of the court hearing his evidence in court itself as opposed to the statement. But Advocate Mshololo telling the court that it's important that we have the statement read into the record because there are discrepancies, and she wants to be able to pose questions to Musia with regards to what the general said, also saying that it was in the interest of justice, and Mamela seemingly, Judge Mamela rather, seemingly agreed, Bradan, saying that there's a lot of issues around how this trial is being conducted, conspiracy theories, saying in fact that the integrity of the justice system is at stake at this point, and he then ruled that he would allow for this evidence, this hearsay evidence, to be heard in court. Let's take a listen.
The court ruled that the statement by Brigadier Ndlovu shall be read. Amongst others, the reason why the court ruled as such has to do with the interest of justice. That we have heard about the first and the second docket. This statement is about or was made by somebody who was even responsible for directing you.
Okay, so that part is now done and dusted, and the trial then continued with the cross-examination of Sergeant Musia. And there was a focus here then on what is contained in there about what Ndlovu has said. I mean, what are the highlights there? What's standing out?
What stands out the most is, of course, that General Ndlovu, in his affidavit, says that at no point did he assist Musia in showing him what evidence to take photographs of. In fact, he also says that he had given Musia the address to the crime scene and did not send him to the hospital to get that kind of information. So that's the big one in terms of the fact that Musia insists that he was assisted by Brigadier Ndlovu, but in his statement, Brigadier Ndlovu denies this. Let's take a listen.
I did not point any scene or exhibits to him, as I was not in charge of the scene.
Ulaba assign scene report yaka ho bontsha hore ke fumane yena and then ka sebetsa ntho tso tletsene ke di etsa crime scene una a shebile.
Okay. I think there is a mistake that happened there because in my
scene report.
In my scene report, he is the one who even assigned to confirm that he was with me at the scene of crime, and he was the one who was assisting and pointing out to me some of the things that were at the scene of crime.
Okay, now the court is adjourned for the day. Slindelo, what's going to happen tomorrow?
We continue, Bradan. We continue with cross-examination of Sergeant Musia. At this point, it's unclear if we'll have another witness called to the stand. But at this point, Advocate Mshololo says that she still has more questions for Sergeant Musia.
Okay, as we conclude, Slindelo, I want to put a smile on your face. It's been a long day in court and it's going to continue to be like that. There is one particular word that you've been battling to pronounce. I just wanted to share with you that I also battle with a couple of words. English, you know, English is not our mother tongue. I also have a couple of words, but irregularity is not one of those I battle with. I battle with the word testosterone. I always battle with that one. Thank you very much, Slindelo Masikane, inside court there, just leaving us with a smile. It's been a long day, busy day. She'll be back, of course, in that courtroom when the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial resumes tomorrow morning in the North Gauteng High Court. Now,